Hello and welcome to Long's Toys. Today I have a Transformers Generation review for you. This is Generation's Rhinox. I think it's a fantastic figure. It is Voyager class. I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff off to the side for a second so I can show you the packaging he comes in. Really nice IDW picture of Rhinox here on the side. Nothing on the top. Picture of a double dealer here on the bottom, just a repaint, retool of Blitzwing. Nice big Maximal picture there on the side. Here he is on the back. If you would like to read the tech specs, go ahead. Got his, I'm sorry, that's his bio. This down here is the tech specs. So yeah, pretty cool box. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the figure. I wanted to do a quick 360 here before I move on to the articulation and the transformation. I think he just looks great. So much more of, or I should say it's a vast improvement over the original. I mean, it's a Voyager size instead of a deluxe. He has much less kibble on the back, whereas the original figure had the kind of like skirt that flow out to the side on both sides. He's got much less kibble on the back here, which I appreciate. And it kind of just like becomes a little bit of a backpack, which is nice and out of the way. He's a little back heavy, but if you put his guns in his hand like this, it really balances him well. Okay, so we get a little bit closer look up at Rhinox in robot mode. Now he does come with these two guns, which I'm going to go ahead and take out of his hand for right now. And like I said, he is a little back heavy, so I might have to adjust him so he doesn't fall over. There we go. These guns I think are really cool. Now, I don't know if you remember the original, but it was kind of a big green box, and then this part sat on top, and then it had these kind of little spikes that you could attach to it. And then it would spin around on the top when you pressed a button. Well, this still has the spinning action. This button here does make them spin. But on the show, they were more like this, where the piece was on the front. These were tighter in, and it was a machine gun instead of just a spinning weapon. So they made it more show accurate, which I appreciate because that really bugged me with the original toy. I just kind of wish that these were painted black or dark gray, something like that, just so they stood out a little bit more. But overall, I think it's a nice improvement over the original. He does come with two of these. They are exactly the same. So now we get into Rhinox here. I really love the head sculpt. I'm going to get real close. It's very show accurate. I absolutely love it. And I also appreciate the original had that kind of monster face idea that they never really developed, where it had one face and then you would open it up and reveal another face. So this is just the show face, and he does have the two. Let me see if I can get this on here. Come on. He does have the two Maximal symbols on his forehead there, which I appreciate. And overall, I really love that head sculpt. And he's got the mouth of the rhino here on the chest, just like on the show. And then the head of the rhino on his back. So overall, I think in robot mode he looks fantastic. And like I said, very little kibble on the back. I mean, he's got this little bit of a backpack, but it's not in the way. It's very nice. The original had kind of like almost like a trench coat here off to the side, and they just hung and were always in the way no matter what you did. Now the hips here and at the knee are a little loose. It's not terrible, but loose leg joints are not really what you want when you have kind of a top-heavy figure. I mean, I still love it, but I wish those joints were a little stronger, but it's not a deal breaker. To get into articulation here, his head is on a ball joint. It can move up and down, side to side. Now the shoulders here, there's a joint here in the shoulder, but you could also lift it up a little bit as part of the transformation, but then things kind of start to fall apart, or I should say come loose. So there's a hinge there, There's a hinge up here. Same with the elbow. You can turn it, and also the normal elbow movement. The hands do not move at all because of the transformation, which I'll show you. If you lift this little skirt up, he does have waist articulation. He's got the same kind of joint here at the hip where it goes like, forward and back and also out to the side. And then the knee does have 90 degrees at the knee. And then there's a swivel right here. If I move this out of the way, right here, right below the hip joint, there is a swivel, which is really nice. This can kind of move a little bit just because of the transformation, but otherwise not really much foot articulation. Although I should say this part here, and I'll show you when I do the transformation, but there is kind of a little hinge right here, which makes this turn at almost like a 45-degree angle, but that's needed for the transformation, and I'll show you that as we get into it. But overall, I mean, he's got plenty of points of articulation. You can get all kinds of good poses out of him. The only problem is, like I said, he's a little top-heavy, and his leg joints are just a little weak. But otherwise, I think he's fantastic. Alright, now to begin the transformation, it's a little complicated, but not so difficult that you can't pick it up. What's kind of fun about him is he's a little bit of a shell former, but everything stows away really nicely in robot mode, so you wouldn't really tell. Basically, what I like to start off, go ahead and take this robot head, or the Rhino head, and just kind of lift this section off, and this is all one piece here. And then this is a different section, which gets usually covered up, which I think is a nice touch. So anyway, you just lift this section up like that. Then you're going to kind of, I like to lift these up just a little bit just to kind of get them out of the way. These sections here, it just really comes away. It's not really pegged in. And then you can kind of just pull these back. Now this section that the mouth, the bottom of the mouth is attached to, and this little part here, you can just flip that up like that. And then this whole section will lift up. It kind of pulls away and ratchets up like that. So normally you would push it down and it would snap in. You just pull it away and it ratchets up. And then it's going to come up here and kind of meet the top of the Rhino head. It's not really going to peg into place yet, but you can kind of see, you just kind of push them together. As you transform the rest of it, things will really start to click in place. Now you come down here and you turn the waist 180 degrees. Just like that. Then this piece here is going to kind of rotate back. And then you kind of tuck it. The other problem is while I'm transforming this loves to fall down all the time. So you're going to have to bear with me with that. But as I was saying here at the crotch piece, this green part here is on a hinge. And you'll swing it back. Yeah, that falls back. And just kind of tuck it back here. So maybe I'll show you from this side just to make it a little bit easier. This is all one piece here. This green piece touches this like light brown piece. And that's just going to swivel up back there. And all that does is bring these closer up and tighter in. Now this whole piece, you're going to pull away from the leg, and you'll see that it's attached by this green piece here. So it was like accordioned in like this, and then you just pull it away and swivel it out. Now this is what I was showing you before. Let me focus a little bit. You will push this, like straighten it out to make the Rhino leg. When it was in robot mode, you know, it did a little bit of an angle to kind of give him a little bit more stability to stand. But you're going to straighten that out, and then you're going to tuck this in. And you're going to do that on both of them. Pull this one away the same as the other. And pull it out. Then straighten this, push this in. Now you're going to kind of, you know, make like a 90-degree angle with this leg here. This piece is now going to fold on top of this. And you can see this butt part is kind of in the way, but you can see that this part is going to clip in here. So you just kind of like get it together, tab it in, and then once you have that tabbed in, you can kind of click the robot or the other animal leg down. So you do that the same with this piece. Get this out of the way, fold this up, and then you'll, like I said, you'll see that this clicks in up here. It's very evident where it's supposed to click in. You can see that, you know, where it's meant to fit, it's shaped exactly perfectly. So it just takes a little bit to get it in there, and then click the rhino leg in. And this, of course, this piece keeps falling down on me. So once you get that kind of snapped in and just kind of fiddle with it and keep it together, then this piece is just going to drop straight down. This piece is made of a much softer rubbery plastic, and I believe that's done because if it was hard plastic, you'd never be able to get it down into this section. So you just kind of bring it down and just kind of tuck it in. It has little tabs, as you can see. You just kind of push that all in there, and then, like I said, you just fiddle with it just a little bit, and everything will get in there and get formed up. And then you've got the whole back section of the rhino here. So turning the rhino over, so you're seeing the underbelly here, you can go ahead and just kind of pull this green part away. Just pull it away from the rhino part of the leg, and then tuck the hand in, and then close it up. It folds in really nicely. Do the same on the other side. Then you're going to want to straighten this rhino leg, turn it 90 degrees, and then you can see this green part here. It'll push in to make kind of a cohesive rhino leg here. We do that with the other side. Turn it 90 degrees, push it in, and then you can kind of push these up and they'll kind of fold in just like this. Kind of smush that towards the side. Now I'm going to put this down for 1 second. The two guns, you can actually sandwich them together. There you go. And you'll feel, because they will like stick together. And then these handle parts, you can see the hinge. The handle parts will fold in. So you want to fold them in together with the handles up. And then you come back into the rhino and you can see these two little green tabs right here. The two, these two light brown parts will fit right in between there and just kind of like nicely click in. Where is it? Well, I want to do it. Okay, hold on 1 sec. There it goes. It's not real tight, it's just real loose, just somewhere to store it. Now these pieces, you have to kind of straighten, because when they were against the robot mode, they were kind of angled, so they would look better, like more flush with the chest. But you're going to straighten it out here so that it's a cohesive piece. And then this is going to come around, and you just kind of extend this all the way, and then there's a tab here that will tab into, and everything just kind of, this part came unpegged. Alright, hold on. There we go. That's why I said he's a little bit of a shell former, just because all these tabs kind of cover the robot body. Why is it giving me so much difficulty? Alright, then you're going to do the same thing with the other one. Straighten that out. Bring that down. Tab that in. And like I said, it just takes a little finicky. It's a little finicky. It just takes a little fiddling with it. But once you get everything tabbed in and snapped together, you get a really nice looking rhino mode here. Now this part, you're going to make sure this is all the way down. And then kind of right here, you're just going to kind of push it in a little bit more, and it'll kind of click in place. You just kind of, you know, push it together. And then you can push these parts in for the rhino legs. The front rhino legs. And there you go. you've got Rhinox's Rhino mode. I think this is a great looking Rhino mode. There's definitely more detail on it than the original. And the only little part of the robot that you see in this mode is kind of these little feet on the back and like the little bit of the back of the forearms here on the front legs. Otherwise, everything is pretty well hidden. Like I said, he's a little bit of a shell former because all these panels kind of cover his robot body and snap into place. But they hide them very well in robot mode, and I think it looks great. I love the detailing of the white on the nails down here on all 4 feet. And I also love the detailing here on the horn. And if I get really close, you can see the eyes of the Rhino, which I think look great. And also you can open his mouth in this mode and see like an actual Rhino mouth. So I think that's really well done. I think the detail is very nice. I think it's definitely much better than the original's Rhino mode. Not really anything for articulation in this mode, I have to say. The feet don't really move at all. They're kind of stationary. So, not really any articulation, but I think he does look great. I think Generations Rhinox is a fantastic update to a classic character. The original Beast Wars Rhinox toy was okay. It always bugged me that it had that extra face on the outside. From what I understand, when they first were creating the line, they kind of had an idea for a monster face that when they would get angry or enraged, the kind of animal side would take over and kind of cover their original face with kind of a monster face that, you know, then they would kind of rage out or attack or something like that. But the idea was later abandoned. So it always bugged me that he had that extra face on there, and I never liked the kind of giant panels that just kind of hung off his waist out to the side. And they've really fixed all those things. Plus, Rhinox was a bigger character, so it's nicer to see him as a Voyager instead of a Deluxe. They made the guns more show accurate. I think this has a lot more detail because it's a larger figure, so they were able to give it more paint applications. Just overall, I think it destroys the original figure, knocks it out of the water. So, if you're a huge Beast Wars fan, you love Rhinox, I absolutely recommend this figure. I had the original as a kid, and this is just such a fantastic update. When I saw pictures of it, I was so excited to get it, and I finally found it and got a hold of it. I love it. I really, like I said, my only complaint is that it's a little top heavy and that mine happens to have loose kind of waist and knee joints, but they're not so bad that it's unusable. I mean, you can, if you lean him against something in the back or you just put his guns in his hand, he can kind of balance himself. So it's definitely not a deal breaker. I absolutely love this figure and I definitely recommend it. But please let me know what you think in the comments. Please like and share this video. Please make sure you're subscribed. I have links in the description for my Facebook and Twitter. Please make sure you're following me on there for updates, pics of new toys as I get them, things like that. So please make sure you're following me on everything. I hope you've enjoyed this review of Transformers Generation Rhinox, and thanks for watching.